Greetings and welcome to this week's UC Weekly News. I'm your host as always, David Danto. Can you guess where I am? Can you look? Can you see? That's the new CES logo. I'm at CES 2025 this week, and we're going to be bringing you some announcements from some of the press conferences and some of the video from some of the press conferences and a few things. You know, I cover CES now. This has got to be past 30 years at this point. I'm not looking for the big stories that you're able to read about in most of the major publications that are out there. I'm looking for the things that people don't necessarily see unless they're here at the show. So I'll be bringing you some interviews with some people that I know and some video clips of some of the vendors. Stay with us. It's going to be a good show. Welcome to the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, where CES 2025 has just opened with the Tech Trends presentation that the CTA staff gave us. I'm going to give you a link on screen to what some of those presentations are. After that, we all attended CES Unveiled, which is the first show within a show at CES, showing us some of the vendors and some of the products. And we've already seen indications that it's going to be a very eclectic show this year. There were new headsets, there were new toothbrushes, there were robots, there were a million things talking about how AI is going to change the world. There's been a lot of hype and oversaturation about AI, as you might expect, and there are a lot of products talking about the AI. There's a big automotive track, there's a big health track, lots of things that I'll be sharing over the next couple of days.
We just saw a glimpse of what's next, a day in the life powered by LG's AI solution. On this stage last year, we introduced our new perspective on AI as affectionate intelligence. This is how we redefine AI, not just as technology that understands users, but as one that genuinely cares for them.
And thank you for joining us today to witness the exciting achievements in the field of display technology. 2025 is a very special and meaningful year for television. As one of modern technology's greatest achievements, television has accompanied humanity for an entire century. Over the last 100 years, it has continuously evolved, reflecting humanity's ever-changing lifestyle and technological progress. From the early days of black and white images to today's ultra-high definition and intelligent displays, each advancement has changed how we live and has pushed society forward. Looking back at the century-long journey, it's clear that every advancement in television has been driven by breakthroughs in lighting technology. From its early stage, black and white images, to the brilliant colors today, lighting is the key. Now, at a turning point, after 100 years, we can't help but wonder, will there any new major innovation coming soon? In the current landscape of TV display, mainstream technologies such as QD OLED and QD Mini LED have their own pros and cons. QD OLED offers outstanding color performance, but its peak brightness and energy efficiency need improvement. QD Mini LED offers excellent contrast and also brightness, yet need more progress in color gamut and energy efficiency.
So we're here at CES 2025. I'm crouching so I can get into the shot. Greg Harper, my friend, and we want to talk about some of the things that happened at the press conference day today.
Absolutely.
I'll sit back over here and be comfortable. So let's start with the LG press conference this morning, where
Sure.
they came up with a term which we'd never heard before, AI not being artificial intelligence, but being affectionate intelligence. What are they talking about
Well,
with that?
they want the AI to be invisible, and it just to work with you and to talk, all our devices talking to each other and then talking to you and having a dialogue with you. And so they were looking at saying, oh, by the way, you're not just your clothes are ready, but by the way, the temperature was low in your kid's room, and I raised it for you, and then someone says thank you. It's a dialogue between the people in the home and the AI, and the AI then talks to all the devices.
To make it a little more friendly and a little more,
it's more dialogue.
Warm and fuzzy.
Right. It's like what I was saying before with the Gemini. If you're driving in your car and you by yourself, you can listen to the radio, or you could theoretically have a conversation with Gemini and actually have a dialogue about anything you want. So it's a dialogue back and forth. So instead of a dialogue about the political situation or the arts or something, you now have a dialogue with your home, and that's all the AI devices that LG is putting together.
Okay. And they talked a little bit about sustainability, not as much as they have in the past, but it's definitely part of their messaging.
Right.
But they also didn't really talk that much about TVs. This used to be the show about broadcast, about television sets, and it really isn't anymore. Partially because the future's going to DV LED. There weren't a lot of announcements about television coming out. There's one Hisense had.
Hisense had it. Yeah, they had 116-inch. But what they were talking about is how to get the best color, and so they are working with micro LED red backlighting. So it's RGB backlighting that is mapped to the LCD. So the LCD gives you the resolution. The RGB LED backlighting gives you the better color rendition. So instead of having white light behind it, you now have colored light behind it that's linked together. So that gives you a better picture. They admit, though, it's not the Holy Grail yet. The Holy Grail is going to be a full micro LED direct view TV, but we're not there yet. So when you start seeing,
we're not there in really consumer products yet.
Well, yeah, there's some products out there. For example, I don't know how much you've seen the megapixel products and all the rest, Ventana. I mean, some of those things are really quite amazing. But right now, 117, you get much bigger than that, you can't fit it into the front door of people's home. So if you want anything bigger, you're going to have to go to a micro LED. It just doesn't make sense economically right now to build that micro LED in a smaller set, which is why Hisense is doing their thing.
And I'm surprised how slowly the integration industry is in picking up DV LED. There's so many advantages where you can, you don't have to bring it up in a freight elevator on the outside of the building. You can assemble it in the room. You can go up in a curve and around a wall, and I thought I'd see more of that here.
Yeah, well, I would expect to see it here too. I've noticed here, just running around Mandalay Bay and the W, there are a lot of LED screens that were not here last year.
Yes.
So it's starting to happen now. More and more people are realizing. There's of course a pricing issue. There's a question of the heat. So if you've got standard SMD, it's fragile, it's lots of heat. Now that the micro LEDs coming along, and we got encapsulated, and we've got things where it's in a package that is more robust and not able to be knocked out easily, all of a sudden it's getting there. But we're not there price-wise yet.
Yeah, getting close. It's getting close.
Yeah.
All right, we also heard from the HDMI folks today. They've got a new standard out there, 2.2, which is supposed to go up to 96 a gigabit.
Yeah,
is what I saw, and they're saying they can support AR and VR in the stream and a lot of other bells and whistles there. Do you think that's a big deal?
Well, the question is HDMI or something like IPMX. But basically, when we're talking about moving video across the pipeline, HDSDI is 422. It is 12 gigabit. And it's fine for a camera. But when you start going high-resolution graphics coming out of any kind of a computer, a regular display port is 20-some gigabits. HDMI, the regular HDMI is 18 gigs. So you're going to want to have that higher resolution. The problem with HDMI, though, is it's limited in length, and you can't go for a long distance. So an HDMI cable that's a high bit rate, that's going to be a very expensive cable versus a piece of Ethernet cable that's really cheap that I can connect and I can run at the higher bit rates, and I can run 444 and I can run not YUV but RGB, and I can run that at multiple gigabits. You have to ask the question, is that really going to make a difference? So I think everyone recognizes that the higher bit rate is important, higher aspect, higher 444 versus 422, the RGB versus YUV, all of those things get a much better picture. But at what cost is the connection, and what about all the interface boxes? So that's why I'm questioning whether HDMI, I mean, it's obviously they want to do it.
They've survived a lot of challenges over the years. We'll have to see how this goes forward.
Well, it just, remember that when you start getting that higher bit rate stuff, it doesn't just change the cable, it also contains the connector and the chips inside and everything else. And there might be easier ways and less expensive ways of doing it.
Okay, that makes sense. We also we're hearing from a lot of chip manufacturers. We have Jensen Huang speaking tonight with NVIDIA. You heard from AMD today, right?
Yeah, well, so the Ryzen chip, in other words, what they were showing off, they were showing it off in gaming with a raucous crowd. Every time they announced something, the crowd would nuts in their room. But then they also talked about computers, laptops, and all the rest, and then enterprise. So they've got some very interesting stuff going on. They were doing some demonstrations, even a MacBook Pro, the new MacBook Pro with the M4 chip versus their new chip. Their new chip actually outperforms that. So when you start seeing the integration of multiple channels with the cores directly to the GPU and all in a single processor, that all of a sudden starts having a major impact. And that will allow you, for example, to have a workstation quality thing in a very thin and low power consumption device. So AMD, I think, is really hitting it out of the park right now.
And it's also interesting that Microsoft isn't here, but yet they are.
Well,
they've been in a number of the presentations. They're here in person. I've seen them on all the screens.
Right, and in fact, the presentation at AMD was AMD and Microsoft together.
So is LG and Microsoft.
Right, and now Microsoft's everywhere. And there's another thing going on. There are a gazillion, billions of Windows 10 machines. Windows 10 is now being no longer supported because of all the security issues, so Windows 11. But a lot of those hardware that was set for Windows 10 will not run Windows 11.
Right.
So we're going to see an upgrade path of new processors. So what are you going to buy? You're going to buy something that has an AI incorporated into it, or are you going to, where it has that AI capability where it's running in a little unit actually on the CPU, or are you going to do just a plain old computer? And the argument is, if you're going to go buy something new, you might as well have the AI, because the AI is going to be there. And the AI is going to be, then one person actually said that the AI is similar to the Industrial Revolution. It's that important what's happening. And it's going to be AI that's invisible. You're not going to see the AI. It's going to happen in the background. And it's like what LG was doing. And you're going to see that happening. And so AMD's argument is, and they did it with HP and Dell and Asus, and they had all the Lenovo, and they showed how their processors are able to get the high speed, the high performance like the Apple is doing by integrating it all together, and oh, by the way, doing it with less power and more performance, and having an AI module into it. That's a winning proposition.
Any other big stories coming out of the day that you're tracking?
Well, I'm interested to see what's going to happen tonight at NVIDIA, because I've heard some rumors of some stuff coming out from NVIDIA that's going to be quite interesting.
How can someone get in touch with you?
So Greg at HarperVision, my last name plus Vision, all one word, Greg at HarperVision.com, or on LinkedIn, but Greg at HarperVision.com is the easiest way to do it.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Thanks for sharing your expertise.
You're quite welcome.
Welcome to the stage, NVIDIA founder and CEO, Jensen Huang.
Welcome to CES! Are you excited to be in Las Vegas? Do you like my jacket? I thought I'd go the other way from Gary Shapiro. I'm in Las Vegas after all. If this doesn't work out, if all of you object, well, just get used to it. I really think you have to let this sink in. In another hour or so, you're going to feel good about it. Well, welcome to NVIDIA. In fact, you're inside NVIDIA's digital twin. And we're going to take you to NVIDIA. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NVIDIA. We used GeForce to enable artificial intelligence, and now artificial intelligence is revolutionizing GeForce. Everyone, today we're announcing our next generation, the RTX Blackwell family. Let's take a look. Here it is, our brand new GeForce RTX 50 series Blackwell architecture. The GPU is just a beast. 92 billion transistors, 4,000 TOPS, 4 petaflops of AI, 3 times higher than the last generation Ada. And we need all of it to generate those pixels that I showed you.
This is the night before the show opens. I just stepped out of the Pepcom digital experience that's taking place in one of the ballrooms here at Caesar's Palace. There were a lot of exhibits there that were showing earbuds. And it's interesting that earbuds are very popular again, but not just earbuds for music listening, but for roughly the same price as music listening earbuds. There are ones that are doing simultaneous translation. There are ones that are providing assistance for the hearing impaired. Shox had a version of their bone conduction headphones. There's one that I tried, and I'll show you some video with it, of open ear headphones that are doing active noise cancellation. I don't know how much they can do, but it's really interesting to see. So lots of improvements in the technology coming from the show here at CES. So greetings from CES 2025. I'm talking to you from the Samsung booth, which is in the middle of the central hall. I don't know if you can see, I'm in a corridor here. It goes all the way out to the side wall of the conference center of the central hall. So there's literally no way to walk through the central hall unless you walk through the Samsung booth, which is a really interesting way of making sure people visit your booth. By the LG booth, and no huge waterfall or large big display of displays that they usually have in the front of their booth. What they have this year is a motion wall, and I'll show you some of that video. And they also have, I gotta get this right, the first OLED transparent wireless displays being shown, and that's pretty impressive actually. So I'm wrapping up my first day walking the Expo, the Las Vegas Convention Center. Tomorrow I have to go to the Venetian and some of the other venues. Last stop that I made was interesting. This is a product called Buddy. It's available on Kickstarter. It's another pair of earbuds, but what they do is they have a special compression algorithm where they continuously record up to 8 hours before the battery dies. So you put them on in the morning, and you're having a conversation during the day, whether you're recording just your end or the far end as well if there are no privacy concerns. It's recording and transcribing everything you say during the day. You can then, when you're done with that, the portion of time you want to do it with, or the full 8 hours of your day, you can then transfer it over to ChatGPT or Copilot or something else and have it pull notes from the day or your to-dos or anything you might have mentioned. It's an always-on personal assistant. Really interesting idea. It might have some privacy issues, but I like the concept, and it is still available on Kickstarter if you're looking for it. That's it for today's updates. And tonight's the Showstopper show. We'll have some more from there. So I'm here at Showstoppers 2025 here at CES 2025. A lot of interesting vendors here, another eclectic mix. I want to show you a Pico projector, or they're not calling it a Pico projector, but that's what it is. Very small style trifold projector that I'll have the young lady with the company demonstrate for us. And I also, more earbuds here. Again, ones that are noise canceling, ones that are hearing aids. It will become a very interesting earbud show. So anyway, take a look at the demonstration of the Pico projector.
I'm with Warzin, so we make projectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's any kind of projector or a special projector?
We are trying to build something that really matters to people, and that's who we are, an entertainment technology brand.
Okay.
So we're really focusing on how to help the most people who want to use projectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you have?
Well, I have, come over here, the world's first trifold projector.
Okay. What's the projection technology that's in there? Is it LCD? Is it
DLP.
DLP? It's a DLP? Okay.
Yeah. So it has the thinnest projector engine, optimal engine here. And over here is the dual speakers on the second fold. And then the third fold is where the battery lives. So
Okay.
this got like a built-in battery for 5,000 mAh. And it lasts up until to 90 minutes to the play. And the battery itself also supports fast charging. So it's 24 watts supporting fast charging. So you can actually plug it in USB-C portal, and then it will fast charge this device for you.
Okay. Are they available yet?
Yes, you can actually get it on Kickstarter now today, and then get one for your family or yourself.
How do we find it on Amazon? Is it your website? How do we find it?
Go on Kickstarter.com, but you can also find the link through our Warzin.com. So it's www.warzin.com.
Terrific. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. So I'm here with Jim Harris. We're still at Showstoppers. Jim, question out of the blue. What number CES is this for you?
Oh my God, I have no idea. It's more than 20. In fact, I've been coming so long that it used to be Comdex. I was coming to Comdex before it was CES.
All right. What's different this year in your mind than CES 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Any reaction?
So Microsoft announced that it's going to spend $80 billion. I feel a Dr. Evil moment coming on, Dave. $80 billion on AI data centers in 2025, and 50% of that capex is going to be spent in the US. AI is everywhere, it's pervasive, and what Microsoft is saying is we're doubling down on AI. Not only do we own 50% of OpenAI, which created ChatGPT and DALL-E and also Sora, but we are doubling down on AI. So we are just at the start of a revolution, the AI revolution. I recorded a webinar a month ago with a partner of mine called the AI Revolution. It just broke 1 million views yesterday. Like, it is a hot, hot topic.
People want to reach out to you and get more information from you or work with you. How can they do that?
So on Twitter, at Jim Harris. On LinkedIn, it's Jim Harris Profile. On YouTube, it's probably Jim Harris or the company name, Strategic Advantage. So,
or fly up to Canada.
Or fly up to Canada. You know, you'll have to have a snowsuit and a sled dog. And but we'll put you up in the guest igloo, very comfy. And yeah, do reach out.
Thank you, Jim.
Dave, great to see you.
You too. I'm in the Health Tech Pavilion, which has grown enormously over the last few years, about reducing aging and doing at-home testing and becoming healthier lifestyles. I'm in the AARP booth right now. Enormous, two huge, you have the auditorium behind me and another pavilion next to me, and there are a lot more demonstrations here of testing and wellness and being aware of what's going on with your body. A huge emerging space. Also, you know, elder care is something that's growing, and keeping grand care, people being in touch with elderly relatives. Big emerging space, emerging technology, very big here at CES. So I'm walking through Eureka Park right now. Eureka Park is where startup companies get the smallest possible booth at the show. And the aisles are so narrow, you can see behind me, it becomes very difficult to actually navigate through. And if you find something you like, you have to push your way in to be able to get over to talk to the people about it. It's a very weird setup, but it's good for companies to start up and finally get an audience and for things to be discovered. Let me flip the camera around so you can see what I'm dealing with in terms of my navigation. How do you feel about walking through that aisle? How can anybody stand out? How can anybody even get through? So this is what the Eureka Park experience is like.
Sell here.
Just saw a really terrific new camera. It's been on the market for about a year. It's from a company called Eye Contact, which, well, it'll explain itself. But take a look at Stacy. He'll explain the product to you.
Hi, I'm Stacy Nimmo. I'm the CEO of Eye Contact Camera. We've got a product that allows you to make eye contact with the people you're talking to in a video call. Traditionally, web cameras are above the screen and the person you're speaking with is below the camera. So it really seems like you're having a conversation with someone like this. If you want engagement, memory retention, and trust, you've got to make eye contact. Really simple camera, really simple way of doing that. Works just like every other video camera, except we've got an arm which allows you to talk to the person, you make eye contact with them, the camera's right there, and when you're done, you just flip it up out of the way. We've got a great app which allows you to adjust all the settings, and boom, eye contact.
Can you show us what it looks like?
Sure. Take a look at that video.
We had that on a minute ago.
Yeah.
So this is the two of us standing here. Nice high quality camera.
Yep.
What's the specs on the camera?
The camera is a 4K camera. It's the size, it's 10 millimeters across. It's a centimeter across. It's tiny. And we have the rest of the hardware is captured up here. Very low impact on the visibility. We also have stereo noise canceling microphones up in the top of the camera so you sound your best.
Is it available?
It's available right now. We've been selling it for about a year on our website. We just started selling it on Amazon. It's on B&H as well, and soon we'll be selling it on Staples. So lots of options to get
And where do we send people to find out more about it?
EyeContactCamera.com.
Thanks very much, Stacy.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
So that's it for this week's UC Weekly News. Stay tuned for the next couple of weeks. We're going to have our analysts back on, Mark and Deborah and Avi, talking about the themes that they saw and getting their reaction. We'll close out CES 2025. But for now, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week.